Call to order the Upshur County Board of Education regular meeting. Roll call.
Yes, ma'am. Jan Craig.
Here.
Sherry Dean.
Here.
Susan King.
Here.
William Parker.
Present.
Roy Wager.
Present.
I'm here. Tim DeRico.
Present.
April Sennick.
Present.
Sarah Wills.
Present.
Elaine Pugh.
Present.
We have a quorum and we can go ahead.
Mr. Wager, would you do the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Parker, would you read the mission statement?
Upshur County Schools is committed to creating a united community for educational excellence.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda adjustment and/or agenda editing?
There are there's no changes this evening.
I'm trying to help you here.
Thank you. I appreciate all the help I can get. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Nays? Item 6, information, delegations. Mrs. Miller?
Okay, we'll start with Liesl Weimer.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh, good girl. Oh, good girl.
Hi, my name is Liesl Lerner. I have been at Rock Haven Elementary School since kindergarten and I am now in the 4th grade. All of the wonderful teachers at Rock Haven Elementary are sweet and the perfect amount of strict and good at helping you understand. They also teach us how to grow fresh veggies and fruits in our greenhouse, which we use in our meals. Every teacher knows every kid and what we need. We all love each other. My mom says that they are all our mama bears, and we are all a family at Rock Cave. Sure, we may be a small school, but we are very important. Rock Cave kids need a school close to their home, and it means a lot to our community. Because of all my wonderful teachers and my teacher, Miss Lynch, my project got 2nd place at the Regional Literature Fair. They always push us to do our best. We can't bear to see Rock Cave Elementary School shut down. Country kids deserve a school with good teachers, a good education, and something close. Rock Cave Elementary is all of those things. Please help us fight for our school. Thank you for letting me speak here today.
Thank you, Ms. Wyman. Very good.
Autumn Louder.
Just in case I throw up this out.
Oh, you'll be fine.
No.
You'll be fine.
Good evening. My name is Autumn Loudon, and I am talking to you as a parent and a voice for Rock Haven Elementary. I am here to plead with you, Ms. Miller, to reconsider this harmful proposal to close our beloved school. This is more than a logistical decision. It is a moral one concerning the well-being and safety of all the students, their families, staff members, and the community. I want to talk about the classroom sizes first. The impact binder focuses mainly on capacity, stating that we can have up to 28 students in a 4th and 5th grade classroom. But I ask, does can mean we should? I believe that would be a step in the wrong direction. Both schools have proven consistently that smaller class sizes are essential for student success and test scores. There's been so many studies in the last 25 years that have demonstrated that students in smaller classes consistently outperform their peers, with the greatest gains seen in high needs students. In the National Center for Education Statistics review, the last one, Rock Haven Elementary was a high poverty school with over 63% of its students identified as economically disadvantaged. That was the highest percentage in the county. This population benefits most from intensive individualized instruction. Consolidating ensures overcrowded classrooms, leading to less attention, more behavioral disruptions, and teacher burnout. We would be sacrificing proven academic success for administrative convenience. My second concern is the impending safety hazard of French Creek's parking lot. The impact binders claim that French Creek doesn't need additional parking is false. The 2019 SBA review already identified the lot as inadequately lit for safety. If it was inadequate then, how can it handle a massive influx of new families? In the last few weeks after work, I've gone through French Creek multiple times and witnessed cars lined up all the way down the school's driveway to the main road at evening pickup, causing some to drive somewhere farther down the road so they could wait to pull in. I've also witnessed Halloween party overflow parking on the sides of the main road, and we have families telling us that they park at Dollar General, that's 0.4 miles down the road, so that they can carpool to the school to avoid the chaos. I've also witnessed families forced to park at the post office lot despite the no unauthorized parking signs. Vehicles parked around the non-parking signs to the right of the school driveway that belonged to the school's neighbor, which were originally put there because of property damage that happened to the neighbor's land from the families parking there in 2023. I also see overflow parking 0.3 miles down the road in a private lot that's actually for sale and isn't even visible from the school. We will be adding Rocky families to a system that cannot safely handle its current enrollment now. This is an accident waiting to happen. I have pictures to give you after I'm done writing. Finally, I must address transportation. While the students will be allowed to be on the bus for 45 minutes, that amount of time should still be completely unacceptable for younger students and kids with specific needs or health problems. The impact binder suggests getting a new driver and bus routes, yet we have faced persistent bus driver shortages for years, to the extent that routes are sometimes canceled. We also need to factor in substitute drivers who don't know the exact stops and inclement weather on difficult routes like Salem Ridge, Prairie Mountain, Hunters Ridge, and Cherry Fork. We are one of those routes, and it is nothing new for the bus to be over 15 to 20 minutes late. Imagine a 6-year-old on an unlit icy road spending 45 minutes up to over an hour on the bus before the first bell. This exhaustion impacts their focus, their performance, and their family time. Ms. Miller and board members, the majority of Upshur County opposes this plan. Closing schools without exploring all the financial alternatives is a hasty and reckless choice that should not be taken lightly by any of the parties involved. I strongly urge the decision makers to be on the right side of history and allow our Buchanan Board of Education and the people of Upshur County, the people who live here and know our county's needs the best, to have the time to truly explore every single viable financial and structural option. Please put our children's best interests, their safety, their academics, and their welfare at the heart of this decision and keep Rock Cave open. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, thank you. Abigail Jeffries?
Good evening. My name is Abigail Jeffries. My children, who are now a BUHS senior and sophomore at WVU, attended Rock Cave Elementary K-5. I volunteered extensively within the school during that time, and most recently I was a foster parent to children who attended both Rock Cave and French Creek Elementaries. Today I am speaking as a concerned community member. I, along with many others, feel that closing Rock Cave Elementary would be a grave mistake with the effects that would be felt for decades to come. My opposition to this potential closure is multifaceted and it's been difficult to decide what aspect to focus on during this allotted time. I've chosen to discuss the prudence in making such a far-reaching and permanent decision so hastily, 14 weeks and 2 days from the formal announcement to the final vote. And while I much prefer that Rock Cave Elementary remain open indefinitely, I have challenged myself to consider possible options and solutions to the problems that have been noted by those in opposition of the current proposal. My greatest concern is for the children of both elementary schools, children whose safety, health, and education should never be compromised, children who will suffer effects should the proposed closure and merger proceed. These effects could be minimized by a true partnership between the Board of Education, the students, families, and staff of both schools, and community stakeholders. One that allows time to construct a solid foundation where the success of all students can be built on. The safety and health of these students is of utmost importance. Rock Cave students would be moving from a school that currently has a safe entrance to one that does not. This move results in an even greater potential for a mass disaster. Additionally, there is photographic evidence of overcrowded lots and overflow parking that reach throughout 20 and beyond during student pickup and special events. A merger would undoubtedly cause larger class sizes that would be a breeding ground for sicknesses, example COVID, and could lead to an increased or overlooked issues with medically fragile students. It would be prudent to address these issues with safe entry parking lot expansion prior to a merger and construct a solid plan to minimize the impact of the health of students and staff. The entire reason we are here is education. When researching the topic of the effects of school closure, I could not find any articles that did not include the decline of test scores, attendance, parent involvement, and student morale. All articles indicated that these effects were even more pronounced in rural areas. As per prior BOE meeting minutes, there have been marked improvements on benchmarks and attendance. It's not prudent to reverse these positive changes with a hasty decision. At-risk students should be identified prior to any merger with plans in place to ensure that those students continue to build upon past growth and do not get lost in the shuffle. In closing, while reviewing the approved Board of Education minutes for September 11, 2025, under the West Virginia Department of Education section, I noted the quotes by the Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Jeffrey Kelly, "Put kids first, prioritize teaching and learning and putting kids first, and prioritize kids, teaching, and learning." If those quotes truly reflect the mission of our West Virginia Board of Education, then I'm confident that they will decide that Rock Haven Elementary School shall remain open until measures are met to ensure the success of all of our students. Respectfully, Abigail Jeffries. And I don't think I made my time, so I'd like to ask, under the rule name 6204 in the school closings, it says members of the public are encouraged to attend, submit statements and testimony, and question county school officials at those public hearings. I assume those will be happening, barring that you get swayed by all of our comments here tonight and decide to reverse your decision. But I was wondering if you could let us all know how that would look like. If we make a statement, are we limited to question and answers?
I'm not supposed to answer questions during delegation.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. But we will get that information.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Reed?
Ron Nestor's not here to say I'm the oldest person here, but Dr. Joe Reed, Upshur County Schools Consolidation. This is an ongoing process of our system and citizens. The proposal to consolidate Rock Haven and French Creek schools is before us. Even though our elected board does not have control at this point, I ask the question, do they agree with the recommendations put forth by the state control? Whatever the decision, when the state no longer manages, we will still have the results. Will the upcoming public hearing influence the decision? Question. Multiple factors influence the decision. One, what produces the best results for our students and community? That's big number one. What are the numbers of students available? What can we afford with available funds? Many other factors like distances, future potential enrollment, older education opportunities, and so on all enter into the discussion. What will our communities support emotionally, financially, and with participation? No longer immediately before us is a proposal to consolidate Tennerton and Buchanan Academy schools, requiring expenditure of, if I understand, at least $2 million on a crowded campus. One source I read suggested the ideal campus for a 700-student elementary school should be 17 acres. I don't know what the campus area is there, but I know it would be crowded. If in the future this is considered, should we start over with a new school at the site, such as the oil field pipeline place at Russia Fork? And I'm not saying that's the only place. Consolidation is not an easy decision. We start from the history of many one-room schools in the 1930s to the present, and we look to the future. What will enhance the opportunities of our students and the community? What will make Brandon Tanney's job as the Upshur County Development Authority more likely to bring other people and businesses to Upshur County? What will eventually provide additional training to supplement Fred Everett's program? Why am I interested? I don't have any kids that are looking to enroll in school, but I do have 2,700 kids who have lots of children and grandchildren who will live with our students. Let's live in the future, not the past. And as an aside, if I had $1 for every green golf ball that comes from heaven in my yard, I could pay for the whole operation.
Sarah?
Hello again. So, as you know, I'm a staff at Rock Cave, and we still want to stay open. So, tonight, we often hear about the opportunity of large schools, but today I want to talk about the power of small schools and the incredible advantages they offer to our student success. Small schools build strong community, personal connections, enhance academics, and personal growth. Small schools also have better attendance rates. That's where I'm at tonight. This can be attributed to the more space per student. Each student has dedicated space in the room around them. Again, we're not sharing all those nasty germs. So when we have overcrowded rooms, or rooms are at max capacity, germs spread so much quicker. Germs spreading creates sickness among the classroom that can run rapid through the school. Cleanliness in small schools are more manageable. Our students are able to wash their hands more often, cutting absences down from sicknesses. Our janitor is able to deep clean spaces that often wouldn't get cleaned as much due to the normal day messes that they're cleaning up. Relationships are built between not only the students, between themselves, but among the staff and students. When the students feel valued, they want to be at school with us. We value our students. We have some of the best attendance rates. Rock Cave has been able to keep our attendance rate up. We were a school that was under the CSI, the Comprehensive School Improvement. Attendance was one of those things that was stated as why. We are no longer, we're in our sustainability year. Sorry, when I get anxious and nervous, I mess up a lot. That's okay. So, we are no longer, we're in that sustainability year. We did have the community and schools helping us, but we no longer have that position, so it's up to our staff, and we're still doing it. We're tracking attendance, and it's doing great. It still stays one of the best in Upshur County. As a small school, when buses don't run, as other folks have said, usually our families are able to find transportation to at least our school to get to where they need to be. So, if that's carpooling, but not everybody's going to be able to carpool to French Creek. They can carpool to Rock Cave a lot. Call up their neighbor and say, hey, you know, Johnny's bus didn't run today. Can you take him over? Because I know you work at IGA. Sure, I'll take Johnny to school. It's a thought. Thank you for listening to my concerns and thoughts. Please join me in keeping Rock Cave Elementary School open. Thank you.
Pam Pissam.
Hi, I'm Pam Pissam, first grade teacher at Rock Cave Elementary School. I have been employed by the Upshur County Board of Education for 35 years. But most of you know those things about me. Tonight, I would like to tell you about my childhood. My mom was 17 years old when I was born. She and my dad were married. We lived in Gaines. My dad worked at more business for us, and my mom stayed home with me. The best reading teacher I ever had was my mom. My mom was the youngest of 12 children. Her family did not value education. Therefore, she quit high school. But my mom wanted my life to be different. And she realized that education was key. So, when I was 5 years old, Rockade Elementary School was offering their first half-day kindergarten program. My parents enrolled me. Then, my dad, who didn't like to spend money, bought a used car, helped my mom get her driver's license, and they did all of that just so I could go to kindergarten. My mom could pick me up every day while Dad was at work. From the moment I walked into Rockade Elementary, I loved school. I cried if I had to stay home sick. I received an amazing education there, and students are still receiving an amazing education there. I had very good teachers each year. I was a very quiet, soft-spoken, shy little girl. I had Mrs. Berger Westfall for music, and one year she made sure I got the leading role in a school play because she wanted me to be more comfortable speaking in front of people. All my teachers at Rockade Elementary were amazing. Now, I know it was forever ago, but they were amazing. There was another teacher who changed the course of my life. His name was Mr. Stone. He was the 4th grade teacher that year. At the end of that school year, he asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. Well, I never really thought about a career. I looked at him and I was thinking, well, what do you mean? What do I want to be when I grow up? He said, Pam, you're smart. You're a smart person. You can be anything that you want to be. You can be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, anything that you want. That started me thinking about growing up, pursuing higher education, and eventually a career, which I have done. From that time on, I worked really hard to achieve my goals. I graduated from Upshur High School. During high school, I investigated several career paths. I taught children's classes in church and vacation Bible school. As I pondered the decision of a lifelong career, I realized that I enjoyed working with and teaching children. Therefore, I decided to become a teacher. My greatest accomplishment professionally, I feel, is to know that for 35 years, I have taught the children of Upshur County lifelong learning skills. At this point in my career, I've taught many children of former students, and last year I even taught the grandchild of one of my former students. It's such a pleasure to see former students and the amazing lives that they are living. I agree that public education today is way different than it was in 1990 when I began my teaching career. But answers and solutions need to be made with the best interests of our nation, states, and communities' children at the forefront. These children of today will be the community of adult leaders in just a few short years. Therefore, we need to consider the huge impact our small community schools have on the future lives of those children. I'm one of those kids. I love the kids at my school. It's made a huge difference in my life. Mrs. Anderson, Mrs. Carpenter, Mrs. Collins, Sweet Liesel, little Jeremiah, the parents have made great points, questions, concerns about the closure of our amazing school. There were great quotes that I could have brought to you, but I just want to make sure you're considering all of this. Please consider what's best for the children in southern Upshur County as this very important decision is made.
Superintendent's update?
Yes. This evening, like we've been doing in the past, I continue to go back to the county strategic plan goals to provide an update. Goal 1 and Goal 2 are related to ELA and mathematics and where we hope to be able to be with our proficiency targets by school year 28-29. Coming this Thursday, we will be bringing our 3 ATS schools, which is Tenerton, Buchanan Upshur Middle School, and Buchanan Upshur High School together. And we will be discussing the standards for highly effective schools, understanding the continuous improvement model and its impact on the work in those ATS schools. We're also going to discuss leadership in its current state in those schools and considerations for improvement within the current school structure. We'll talk about family engagement and its importance to the journey. We will also understand the data and complete a root cause analysis with the 3 schools. And from that root cause analysis, will we begin to develop a plan for implementation to support the subgroups to close those gaps. Just a reminder, ATS schools are identified because they have gaps that exist between what we call all students, and then those specific subgroups, which include students with disabilities, students who are considered low socioeconomic, all of our different races, and as well as American Indian, Hawaiian, Alaska. There's multiple that exist if they meet that definition. So that's what we'll be working on, and to address with them specifically goal number 1 and 2 with ELA and mathematics. Now, when we come down to the chronic absenteeism, currently, as of yesterday, because remember it reports a day late, we have our chronic absent rate is 18.89%. That's an increase of 0.01% since the end of October, our last meeting. Our average daily attendance is 93.77%, which is down 0.19%. Our goal is 10% chronic absent, and our average daily attendance is 95. When we look at goal 4 for the multi-tier system of support, which is around attendance, behavior, and academics, we did recently complete our data meetings with our principals where they shared concerns in areas they see growing in a positive manner in each of these categories. They also discussed the implementations of PLCs in their schools, and they understand we are on a journey and it's not a race, because we want to assure that the implementation is done with fidelity and impacts attendance, behavior, and academics based on the data that they're able to collect within their schools.
Thank you. Excuse me, what's the third school, Tennerton High School
And middle school.
Board member committee meeting?
In the
Did you have another
future,
question?
on the superintendent's updates, could we explain the acronyms? Not everybody is familiar with their acronyms, especially in the audience. So I think that would be beneficial.
Yeah, like ATS, you mean additional targeted school, and what that means?
Yeah, I mean, some people may not even know what ELA is, English Language Arts.
Oh, sure.
You know, it's easy, if you're familiar with the topic, to talk in acronyms and not realize many may not understand those acronyms,
Sure.
including me at times.
Okay, more board member committee meeting updates. Mr. Parker?
Nothing new from the Stockard Youth Center Committee. No meetings have been held.
Okay. Mrs. King? Parks and Rec will not meet until January, the end of January. Okay. Mr. Wager?
Fred Everly beats tomorrow, so I will give my update on the 18th. Yeah, on the 18th.
Okay. Mrs. Dean? Upshur County Public Library will meet next week, so I'll give my update next meeting. Okay, item 7, minutes, policies, contracts, agreements. All items have been approved through the authority of the State Superintendent of Schools. But do I have a motion to approve these items, the minutes? Is that correct?
Minutes, yeah.
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor? Ayes?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Nays? Okay, now we have requests for bids, snow removal.
Yes, we did put out for bid again snow removal throughout the county, and we did receive from Superior Contracting Services snow removal for all schools for FY26. We did provide to you in your packet of information those prices that will be paid during this bid period that they did bid on. If we continue, do you have any questions?
I did notice we bid the schools individually, or a
Yes.
price individually, and I noted Superior noted in their bid, you know, the bid was for all schools, is how they submitted it. But Highland was lower on the 4 schools they bid on. Highland was lower. Was the intent, since we bid schools individually, to separate that if we so desired?
If we did desire, yes, but the issue becomes the manpower to cover the geography that we're covering. And to have someone, to risk not being able to have snow removal at Rock Cave or French Creek is a great risk, probably would be the stance of the administration.
Okay. I'm just concerned in how we bid. The intent, to me, looking from the outside, is, the intent on the bid was that we could select, if there were 3 or 4 vendors, whatever, 2 schools may go to X, Y, Z, 3 schools to A, B, C, or whatever. If we do not take the lowest bid, we need to have a valid reason reflected in our minutes of why we did not take the lowest bid. Statutorily, that's required. So I don't know what that reasoning may be, but our minutes need to reflect why we did not take the lowest bid on the 4 schools that Highland Nursery bid on, since we did bid individual schools.
We need that clause too, that Superior wouldn't do anything. Yeah.
Traditionally, there have been more bidders, more contractors.
Right.
And we've seen it decrease. Last year, there was only one bidder.
And in the future, it may, if our intent is not to split the bid schools out, it may, I don't know whether that probably would restrict some bidders of being able to bid on some projects, but
Our hope is obviously to get the best value.
yeah. But statutorily, if we do not take the lowest bid, we're required to reflect in our minutes why we did not take the lowest bid.
That information was in my recommendation to the superintendent.
Yeah, I had the packet that we had.
We will make sure that does get in
Yeah,
and
I just,
reflected.
yeah, whatever that reasoning is.
Okay, we can continue on down the consent agenda. We do have those facility requests with the Upshur County Men's Pickup Basketball League, the Buchanan Community Band, Stockert Youth Center for their basketball practices at Union, French Creek, Buchanan Academy, when times are available for those to occur. And then Buchanan Upshur Archery for an archery tournament to take place at Buchanan Upshur Middle School.
We have to have approval?
No.
Okay.
Then we also have 2 field trips. We have one for Buchanan Upshur High School softball team to participate in the Cal Ripken Experience in Myrtle Beach during spring break, as well as for the Buchanan Upshur High School baseball team to participate in the spring break baseball trip tournament in Union City, Tennessee. You can see where parents will be providing transportation and accompanying the athletes. I did ask for those things to be a part of this, or I was not going to recommend that the trips take place. Knowing some issues that have occurred in the past on those trips. So I did ask that parents accompany their athletes and transport them if we were not going to provide some other means of transportation.
I have a great concern here. Private transportation for students that are representing Upshur County, and we are not supplying them with the safest transportation that's available to us. And I know I don't have a vote in this, but I am greatly concerned. It's in my opinion, it would be safer for those students to be on a school bus and instead of private cars.
We will note that in the minutes.
Thank you.
I do have some follow-up as it relates along some of those same lines. Because at least one, maybe both, but at least one of the discussed students riding with other parents. either there or why they were there. Will we or have we thought about doing a driver record check
Yes.
on parents? So we'll be doing that.
Yes, we will collect copies of driver's license and insurance information, and we will ask that that be completed prior to.
Okay. Will these individuals, are they going to go through the process of an approved volunteer?
They must.
Okay. And the stipulation that I have a problem with is, as well as Ms. Dean's concerned, is students riding with other parents. A parent, it talks about written permission in one of those trips. A parent cannot waive a student's rights.
Correct.
They have, a student, if something bad would happen, God forbid, a student would have 2 years after their 18th birthday to file suit.
Yes.
So I'm concerned about that situation, so.
Quick question.
Yes.
Is spring break considered out of calendar?
Yes.
Yes.
So, if it's,
They could do it. They
so,
don't have to.
if it's, what my question is, if it's an out of calendar, if those same parents and students chose to take their kids on vacation to the beach, wouldn't that be the same thing? They're out of calendar days.
Not when they're
But
representing
they're
Upshur
representing
County
Upshur County schools.
It's approved activity through the,
Yeah,
Yes.
through the
board.
school.
Yes.
They're representing,
They're representing this school.
yes. This county, this school, we are responsible.
Okay, that brings us down to financial.
Financial.
Make sure you turn your mic on.
Sir?
Any questions on the,
You gotta get real close.
was there any questions on the check registers or the monthly financials?
well, I couldn't let you off without questions.
I did try to on this one. I know last year there was a concern, like with the interest earned, but I didn't do that until the end of the year. Well, this year I started, I'd like do it quarterly, so that is included on this month's to show how much we have earned in that first quarter.
Yeah, I did notice that. I appreciate that. Again, just my first statement until the state decides to correct it. We are not on a cash basis.
Right.
I know there's nothing we can do about that, but I don't know why they can't get that fixed. On the third page I'm looking at is the general current expense categories, starting with salaries, employee benefits, that page starting in the following page or two. There's 10 areas, 10 separate line items, or areas, categories, whatever you want to call them, that are over 100% of the budget. The first one you run into is 111.76% on purchase professional and technical services. The budget's $850,000 due to expenditures and encumbrances. We're already $100,000 over budget. The next line is a smaller amount, but still over budget. And you can see down through there, if you're above 100%, in my mind, you know, that's an inappropriate, possible, illegal expenditure. Unless someone can get the signature of the state superintendent and the state auditor, it's my understanding a public entity, county commission, city, school board, etc., any public entity, PSDs, development authorities, boards of health, you cannot expend or encumber funds that you do not have. And under that first area, purchase professional and technical services, professional educators, the budget's $850,000, and we have spent or encumbered a total of $950,000. How do we do that? Why do we do that? Why isn't a budget journal, budget revision done before we do that?
And that's one of the issues, like whenever you're looking at your August and September, because we still have some of that carryover from last year. So once we get to October, then all these negatives will go away. Because we can bring that budget of those unspent funds in fiscal year 25 over into 26.
So what you're telling me is,
especially like on books and stuff like that, because we can use like some of our step 7 funds from last year to help cover some of those expenses as well.
will you be using the unrestricted funds of $4,750,000, or will you be using other funds?
It's other funds, because those would be some of the ones, I believe we did as the committed funds, which
Okay.
was the ones that we knew we had from last year that we could carry over and still use in this year.
And, you know, I understand that process, but my opinion, Willie's opinion, we're a technical violation of the statute every time we spend $1 that's not in a line item.
Doesn't this have to be approved
And
by the
Upshur County
state before we adopt it?
state
yeah.
takeover, one main area being financial.
Well, then the state's fault.
I don't know why we continue to violate the code.
The state.
The state approved it.
The state.
I
did.
understand the state
So
approved that.
it's their problem, not ours.
Well, that's
But
not true.
Yeah.
if we ever want to get back in control, they're going to look at, well, you haven't put
That's every
implements in place, safeguards in place, guidelines in place, even though they've approved it. Yeah. I don't know why they approve it when they know it's a violation of statute. I can't speak for them. All I can do is encourage our staff to avoid this to begin with.
And I know too, like every month, like the state, we are on like that watch list, so they look at it like at the object level too.
Right.
So we're looking at it object level, and this is like the program function level of the account code structure. So I know, because they can send us the thing every month, like, you know, here's some of the ones that you're over budget in, can you
Right.
explain this? Or it might be a timing issue, and
But
so we are constantly looking at that, but
I don't know why we let it get to that when our system tells us, as I understand it from our discussion at the last meeting, our system tells us when we're expending money we don't have in that line item. It gives us a warning message.
right.
We should not process that invoice until a revision's made.
Yeah, but then that's like, because when we do the budget, it's not by, like,
I understand
Revision
it,
level,
but
so you're
eventually
gonna
we
get
have
that.
to. Eventually we have to cover that. Do we eventually get to that level in budget revisions?
not down to, sometimes we don't do it down to the location, it's still like, I guess the head account where it's like just to the object level.
Okay. I know this is not to the object level, this is
Right, program function.
program, I mean, this is a problem. If it's just to the object level, I can have a little bit of, understanding. But as it is right now, if we would talk to the state auditor's office, talk to the state auditor or the chief inspector's division, I'm assuming they would tell us, I can't guarantee anything nowadays, I'm assuming they would tell us we cannot expend funds that we do not have in a program line item. And I don't know why we continue to do it. And then, so there's 10 that are over 100%, which is a problem. And then there's 10 that are over 25%, because we're through 25% of the budget. Now, I know some of those, an example was bus replacement. It's 98 point something %. Well, we're buying one bus. I understand that. Some of those are going to, there's a reason they're over 25%. But some of them I don't understand, like under salaries, service substitutes, we're at 82.7% through the first quarter. I don't see that expenditure slowing down a whole lot. Yeah, maybe it will. The next line is 63.93. The next line is 51%. I don't see where salaries are going to even out, so to speak. Repairs and maintenance, or rentals, 65%. So I, again, fail to understand why our budget was set, like service substitutes, $60,000, and we're already 82% in after the first quarter. Did we just not budget enough, or is something happening with our expenditures? What's our situation in some of these line items where we're above 25% up through the fiscal year, but our budget's reflecting 80, 60, 51, whatever the number may be. I don't understand some of these line items, or at the program level, why we are where we are percentage-wise. I mean, I understand, when you talk about, well, eventually, it's easy enough to make the numbers jive on paper. Did it for 30 years, I understand it's easier to paper with a budget. You just increase revenue on paper, put it into the line item, everything looks great, but you may not have the money in the bank to come the end of the year. That's where it becomes the problem. I don't want to get to the end of the year and, we don't have the money in the bank, even though we've moved money around on paper. And I don't know how to express this enough, other than every month continue to bring it up. And I'll send another message to Mr. Kelly, and I don't know why the state approves it at this level. Why they're not, maybe they are asking questions. If they're not, they should be. That's why they're intervened. Shame on them if they're not noticing this and not asking questions. One area that I have you have $127,127. Good number. Reserve. What's that? What do we anticipate that for? That is reserved for what?
For contingencies or for whatever, so that we could use to like move up until, like, to cover some of the overages.
Okay. And that's in addition to the $4,750,000 unrestricted?
Yes.
Okay. I don't, I hate to bring repeat the same questions over and over, but I will each month until the numbers get more in line. And I don't want us just to paper whip a budget. That solves nothing other than makes the paper look good. So, that's the end of my questions.
Okay, thank you. Item 10, student matters, personnel, legal matters.
You have and received copies of our personnel actions for this evening, including service personnel employment. We also have service personnel transfer, where we have a special ed aide that will be moving into the cook's cafeteria manager position. As you can see, that will not take place until the end of the first semester. In code, it does state that, particularly with ECATs that are serving in our kindergarten classrooms and or special ed classrooms, that it is not in the best interest of a child to move that aide until there is a definitive break in the school year, and that does occur at the end of the first semester, so that's why we are holding that person in that position. We do have several approved volunteers on tonight's agenda, and then we also have 4 of our employees that have requested FMLA for various reasons. I will also share that we know that we have lost a very good math teacher at the middle school in, sorry, Dr. Reed, I forgot. We are losing a very good math teacher at the middle school, Trevor Mouser. We hate to see him go. But I was successful in securing a CTR. And what that is that is a student who is about to complete their education studies and student teach from Fairmont State University, a very well-respected, well-admired young lady that will be coming over and completing all of her paperwork, etc. And she has accepted the position at Buchanan Upshur Middle School. So we will be having a certified math teacher replacing Trevor, which is always hard to find. So I just kind of picked up the telephone and asked if they had one, and they said yes, and she said she would love to do it. She lives right on the border of Harrison and Lewis counties, so hopefully we can show her what is great about Buchanan, and she'll make the move after she graduates from college. She has passed all of her required certification tests, including her math required tests, so she is going to be a great candidate for us. So I did want to share that with you this evening. That's very good news.
Item 11 is future meetings. November the 13th at 5:30 at French Creek Elementary. November the 13th at 7 p.m. at Rock Cave Elementary. November the 18th at 6 p.m. at BUHS. November the 20th at 5:30 at BUHS. December the 2nd at 6 p.m. at BUHS. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
I can answer them when we adjourn. Okay, you're fine. Yeah. Did you second?
Wait,
Were you the second?
Roy, second.
I second.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this meeting is adjourned at 6:52.